WTOK-TV, this is News Center 11.
A possible tornado in Meridian today. Many homes and structures heavily damaged. Reports of 2 people being injured during the storm. And we hear from those who rode out the storm this morning and what they have to say about what they felt.
News Center 11 at 6 starts now.
Good Saturday evening, everyone. I'm Tom Williams. We begin with a likely tornado here in the city of Meridian and in the town of Meridian. We know that at least 2 people were injured during the storm. No deaths, thankfully, have been reported. Video coming in of what is believed to be the start of this likely tornado. This video is taken from Key Field from a man named Don Moore. Happened at 10:42 this morning. You can see the rotation of the storm near the guard base before making its way into the city, causing a lot more damage ahead.
In the East End area primarily, we do have some damages in the downtown area and throughout a large part of the city of Meridian. We have a lot of trees that are down with power lines in them. We've had several calls of trees on houses, trees on cars.
Now, the city announcing a curfew that is in effect right now until 7 tomorrow morning. We have team coverage of the severe in our top story tonight. Now, the possible tornado did a significant amount of damage to many areas around the Queen City, including George Reese Apartments. It had the roof completely torn off of one of the complexes. Shingles and insulation were scattered throughout the area and along the roadways. City leaders and community members came together to clear the streets and clean up as much as possible. Charles Williams, who lives in George Reese Apartments, says he was rushed home from work as soon as he heard about the storm.
I didn't know what I was going to expect, what I was running into. As the way I was coming home, it was a lot of signs. You got stoplights down. It's just real terrible out in this area.
I just came out here to help, be a good citizen and, represent my community.
Trying to clear some of the streets as the citizens here. As you can see, we just trying to show the community that they have our support.
Ward 2 Councilman Tyrone Johnson, you just saw him there, says everyone in that apartment complex did make it out safely. And not too far from that damage was heavy damage at Magnolia Middle School. The school's auditorium suffering extensive damage during the possible tornado. The baseball field also suffering major damage to it. Fences torn down and trees hitting some of the field's accessories. Several awnings and other things were blown down throughout the school. No word on the extent of the damage or if any major damage was done to the classroom portions of Magnolia. And now we're going to turn to Candace Barnett, who talked to a person who has a unique story after the storm passed through. She joins us live right now from Magnolia Middle School with more on that woman's story.
That's right, Tom. These storms were a terrifying experience for everyone in their path. One woman tells me she was in a hospital parking lot caught right in the middle of a tornado, and she feels lucky to be alive tonight.
And I have never been as afraid as I was today.
Michelle Boyd had decided to make a quick gym run, but that Saturday morning errand quickly turned dangerous.
I'm just sitting there and my car starts to shake, like back and forth, like a turbulence. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I look back that way towards the back of my car, and all I see is swirling.
In the parking lot at Anderson, Michelle called her friend trying to figure out what to do.
I'm crying on the phone to my friend and praying to God that my car doesn't get lifted up and taken off into whatever I'm experiencing. Electrical lines pop. Like the lights are popping, everything's going off, and I start to see the awning fly off of the building in front of me. And at this point in time, I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Once the storm calmed, she made a split-second decision and ran in the gym where everyone was waiting inside.
And I said, tornado. First thing, they're like, really? That really happened? I said, yes, I was right in the middle of it.
Michelle was just visiting her mom in Causeyville this weekend. She's seen her fair share of hurricanes in her home state of Florida, but says hurricanes at least give you time to prepare.
I've never experienced anything like that before. Just all of a sudden, it came on. It's quiet, it's silent, then boom.
After those moments of sheer terror, now a feeling of relief.
Joy, gratefulness for being safe, and glad that it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
You can see that the damage all around has been widespread and serious throughout the city of Meridian and Lauderdale County. And I've talked to a lot of people everywhere I go who tell me the same thing, that they just feel lucky to be alive. Reporting here from Magnolia Middle School, I'm Candace Barnett, News Center 11. Let's turn it back to Tom in the studio tonight.
All right, thanks a whole lot, Candace. Well, now to one of the areas hit very hard. It was Meridian. One person was transported to the hospital after being pulled out of their home on Sukalina Street. Meridian Police Chief Randall Davis telling us that woman suffering non-life-threatening injuries. Now I'm joined right now by Storm Team 11's Damon Madsen. And Damon, a busy day. We hear the rain coming down now, but it was a thunderous event this morning.
Yeah, late this morning we had that main line move through right around 11 o'clock this morning, and that's when we had the possible tornado move through downtown Meridian. A piece of the storm pretty much got ahead of the line a little bit, and it tracked into downtown. And again, that's where we have that possible tornado. Here's the satellite loop, or the radar loop there, of that storm as it moved through. You can see that little appendage pretty much breaking off. I know it's moving pretty fast there, but again, we see that little bit just go right through Meridian, then off into northeast portions of Lauderdale County. That was the possible tornado that we were tracking as it went throughout the day today. So again, that's what we were keeping an eye on. And again, once that line moved through, it was basically just the heavy rainfall for us later on after that we had to deal with. But again, that was pretty much the loop of the radar right there. And again, we had some of the damage reports through the city of Meridian today as we were watching for that. And again, we have damage reports going all the way from the airport all the way up into the northeast portions of Lauderdale County, also southeast portions of Kemper County as well. So again, we were just keeping an eye on that as we were going through. And there's some of those reports right there as we zoom into downtown Meridian. Again, you can see right along that track. And again, Magnolia Middle School was right in the main path of this storm, and that was one of the heaviest hit areas, as well as the east side of the city. So thankfully, though, again, a lot of these storms are now off into Alabama. We're just getting the rainfall tonight, and mainly the biggest concern for us is going to be the flooding thanks to some of this heavy rainfall as we go forward.
And Damon, if you look at some of that damage that's around town, you see that video that we had from Keyfield. Literally, if you draw a line up toward the northeast, you could see a direct path of damage.
Exactly, and that's why we're thinking that this is a tornado. The rating is still yet to be determined, but that possible tornado that moved through today here in Meridian.
All right, thanks a whole lot.
No problem.
Damon. Well, there was also major damage caused on 14th Street. A large tree was knocked down across 24th Avenue between Walgreens and the Texaco, blocking traffic. Crews are still working to remove the tree. The brick facade along one wall of the Colonial Life building was also damaged, leaving behind just crumbled brick. More trees were down all around Walgreens, and employees there say the winds were so strong that they knocked out the glass in the sliding doors at the front of the store. People telling News Center 11 no one was hurt. And we have been calling today's storm a possible or likely tornado. And that's because crews with the National Weather Service have yet to confirm that it was a tornado. Storm Team 11's Andrew Samet called up with that crew surveying the area right now. He joins us in the studio with what they're saying. Andrew?
Thanks, Tom. I caught up with the crew at Magnolia Middle School, one of the locations in Meridian that had structural damage. They had went through other parts of the city and saw numerous trees down and more structural damage. Their early thoughts are that it was a tornado, but they must do more work to confirm this. The surveyors have to determine whether or not the damage was caused by straight-line winds or a tornado, and then have to figure out the path and intensity if a tornado was in fact the cause.
Storm, and we look at the damage and see how it's laid out. If it's all facing one direction, that tends to be more straight line wind. If it kind of points in different directions, that would indicate more of a tornado signature.
And once the survey is complete, the National Weather Service will release an official assessment of the cause of the damage. The crew had also surveyed damage that occurred in Meridian. Tom?
All right, thanks a whole lot, Andrew. And you can keep up with the weather anytime by logging onto our web channel. That's WTOK.com. You can also download the new WTOK weather app, or you can also follow us on social media at WTOK-TV.